Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. My name is Joe and that is Stephen Howson. And today, Steve, I'm going to ask the simple question, have United improved? And then I'll follow up with the second one. If they have they improved by enough? Because
yes and no.
Okay, well, let's get into the details of that, because last season was the worst in our lifetimes as far as Man United goes in terms of league position. Factually. It was, awful, to the point where I never thought I'd see United finish 15th. I thought there'd been too much money, too much success over the last 40 years at Man United where that couldn't really happen anymore.
It was good laugh though, wasn't it?
It was a good laugh in a way. No, it wasn't. In a way being no.
Not for us at least anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone laughed.
I'm sure a lot of people were laughing, but we weren't as United fans. This season, there has been a difference. It's certainly not as bad as it was last season, but is it good enough? I'm going to compare some of the numbers from last year, some of the numbers from this year, your thoughts, the eye test, a combination of everything to work out, are we actually getting any better? So first of all, in terms of just gut feeling, when you watch Manchester United now compared to, let's use the whole of last season, because there's the Ten Hag bit that was bad enough for him to get sacked over. Then there was the Amorim bit, which was even worse. Do you think we are better than we were then?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good starting point, because we needed that. That needed to be a yes, because otherwise I think Ruben Amorim wouldn't have very long at all. How much better do you think we are?
Not a lot.
I was hoping you'd say a lot. Let me get some numbers in this.
Do you know why we're better?
Yeah, go on.
We got better forwards.
Well, I'm going to get into the details on that as well. But let's start with the sort of...
And we seem to have found a way that Casemiro and Bruno can look like a semi-functioning midfield.
That's big, because one of those in particular looked like he was pretty much done last season. So let's go back to 13...
And the other was Bruno.
Yeah, exactly.
I got that wrong.
It was the old switcheroo, but you actually switcherooed it 2 times.
I switcherooed myself.
Yeah, you did. If we go back to the 13th game of last season and compare the numbers, so weirdly, I think Amorim had maybe taken charge of 1 game or potentially 0 games at this point. So this was the run that essentially got Ten Hag sacked. The 13 games into last season, Amorim had a couple of games and we were up to 9th. We'd played 13 games, we had 19 points, scored 17, conceded 13. Now compare that to this season, played 13 games, 21 points, which is obviously better, scored 21, which is better, conceded 20, which is actually quite substantially worse. 7 more goals conceded, 4 more goals scored, 4 more points gained. 7th in the league, 2 places higher. That is a little bit better. However, we just sacked our manager after that start last season. So in terms of just raw numbers, does that impress you or not particularly?
Well, obviously not. But we had Bayern throwing it in his net for the first half of the season.
Of this season?
Yeah, I say half, but was it, how many games was it? 6, something like that.
How
many did he actually concede in that time?
I'll have a look.
Because when you say 20 goals conceded, it's kind of important to realise how many of them was actually him. 1 clean sheet, I think, Sunderland, Lamens' first game.
That's the only one.
And then he got here and went, we don't do that here. Cool, all right.
So since Sunderland, we've conceded 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9 goals in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. So 9 goals in 7 games. Before that, we conceded 3, 5.
Well, 11 and 6.
Pardon?
11 and 6.
11.
It has to be.
It was. Yeah, 11 and 6. We've conceded 9 since we conceded.
So it's an improvement.
It's an improvement
because he's a better goalkeeper.
Yeah.
The 5 is what hurts us there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Big time. Because without that, we're on 15, which is not. This is like that scene in Chernobyl. Not great. Not terrible.
But pretty terrible. Still pretty terrible,
but there's
isn't
a
it?
nuclear reactor about to blow up, so it's about to get pretty bad. We had the Bayern era, which we had to overcome. And then we had the we're not going to try and defend on transition era, which he eventually learnt from. And since then, we've looked more stable, but then we've also stopped scoring. So... What has actually improved? There's been some improvements in terms of Amorim's understanding, I think, and the way he treats what happens in the league. But then we lost two out of our 3 new forwards, and we stopped being able to score goals.
Just on this scoring goals thing, because obviously we spoke so much last season about the attackers. The 3 attackers that played the most games for us last season were Xerxes, Højlund and Garnacho. 32, 34 and 36 league appearances respectively. By this time last season, 13 games in, Xerxes had got 3 goals, which was what he ended the season on. Højlund had 1 goal and he ended the season on 4. Garnacho had 3 goals and he ended the season on 6. Pretty decent stuff actually for Garnacho there. So a sum total of 7 goals there. Now so far this season, and Mbeumo's got 5, the players replacing them has got 5, Sesko's got 2, Cunha's got 1. So it's only 8 compared to the 7 from those 3, at the same time. Obviously the big problem is Xerxes didn't score again.
Sesko and Cunha have been missing for a fair chunk of that.
Yeah. But in terms of what we've actually seen play out on the pitch, and Mbeumo's the real one sort of carrying the new players in terms of numbers. But are you seeing things from Sesko and Cunha that aren't just goals? That is,
when I was seeing them.
Yeah. Obviously, when they're not fit.
When I've not seen them, I ain't seen it.
Yeah. But do you know what I mean, though? Do you think we?
Yeah, no, I think we look functional.
Improved?
I think we look dangerous when all 3 of them play. Yeah. I think we look good. We still need wing backs.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty happy with our defence. I'm pretty happy with our attack. The midfield kind of knows what it's doing. It's not natural, but it's functional-ish.
Yeah.
It's enough if we can figure out what's going on at wing back. We can figure out what's going on at wing back, and I think Ahmad in certain games works, Mazraoui in other games works, depending on the level of opposition, probably. If Dorgu can watch all of Antonio Valencia's assists, maybe we can get something out of him down that side.
In terms of the tactical side of things, do you see adaptations for Amorim over this period?
Oh, yeah.
And do you think that they're working?
Yeah, but it's slow. It's people just think, you can watch Monday Night Football and then Tuesday morning at training be a totally different football team. It's just not realistic. It takes ages for all of those things to, you've got at least 11 moving parts, if not 20 moving parts, because even if I explain it to Casemiro, I need to also let Kobbie Mainoo know. And he needs to drill it. And, they don't get days on the pitch. They get an hour here and there, and some of that's going to be fitness work, some of that's going to be set play work. There's all sorts of different things, like doing walkthroughs and tactical understanding. It's probably such a minor part of the week. Maybe it needs to be more. But it'll be such a minor part of the week. It'll be so difficult to sort of get it in and implement. I would like to see way more from him, especially when we come up against these low blocks.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just a case of you get Sesko and Cunha in and that's enough, but what's the manager doing in that situation then? I need my manager to have the answers. I need him to be able to go, opposition are doing X, let's do Y. Maybe he did that on Sunday against Crystal Palace, because the first half to the second half was night and day. So maybe he did do that in that instance. Maybe he just needs a little bit more time understanding the players, understanding the league, understanding the opposition, and we'll see more of that. But I would like him to be doing more of that, to make it more obvious something's not working. Because how many times have we seen stuff, it don't work, and then we see the same again? I mean, Thursday night we're going to see West Ham come and do what Everton did, exactly the same, and try and hit us on a counter. Maybe it'll be a different formation, it'll be different personnel, and the kit will be a different colour, but you can't tell me the execution is going to be any different.
And United need to not fold to it this time.
Yeah.
Because I think until they scored, basically, Everton were better than us. And I think they scored and then went, right, we've done our job now. If you don't score for the next 80 minutes, we've won.
Yeah,
and they did.
I disagree with that, and I know the vast majority of the audience disagrees with me on that, but...
So what do you think was different to what I've said there, then?
I just don't think they was as good as everyone was making them out to be.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe they shone a light on the level that United had dropped. Maybe they weren't a lot better than us, but maybe they were closer to their peak and we were further from ours, and it was an even game that felt as though they were on top. Maybe it was
your
that.
expectation dictates where it actually
maybe
felt
there's
like.
An element of that.
I've got no dramas with that.
Yeah,
and I think you're going to see very much of that. I mean, even the Crystal Palace game, we only scored from set plays. Still, we are poor in open play right now. That worries me. I can identify Mount wanting it at feet, Xerxes wanting to feet, Mbumo wanting it to feet, even though he, out of those three, is the one that's got the ability to play on the shoulder and be played in. And I know they switched up a little bit in the second half against Palace, possibly to get him to do that. But the fact remains, all three of our forwards currently, if it's those three, although I think Cunha might be back against West Ham, currently want it to feet. Can we do something different with orders? Because you can't just put players on the pitch and go, that's how he plays.
Yeah.
Fucking tell him not to.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense. Just in terms of one other thing that I think gets mentioned, improving players. Like, Amorim hasn't improved anyone. Now, I'm going to give you a list of names of players I think he has improved, and you can agree or disagree. I think Casemiro is the most functional and best he's looked in probably 2.5 years right now. It's the first time he's looked like a proper, good Premier League central midfielder. I think we're seeing maybe not the best of Luke Shaw by any means, but he was injured and inconsistent for a lot of the last 2 years as well. Maybe that was just injuries. I think, personally, I think that we're getting more out of De Ligt this season than last season, even though I think he was pretty good and maybe a little bit underrated last season. They're the ones for me that stand out as he's improved them, or they have improved over the last 12 months. But then people will throw out, obviously, Kobbie Mainoo has gone from starting week in, week out to not being able to get a game. Bruno is in that in-between world where, yes, he's still putting up good numbers, but you're not getting the best of him maybe because of where he's playing. I think as well, people look at Marcus Rashford and other players who have left. Not that you should have to fight through off-the-field things, but he, instead of getting the best out of him, he thought, I can't do this, and got rid. Do you think the way he's handled the squad and got the best out of some and not out of the others is overall been a good thing, or do you think he's struggled with that?
I think he's probably struggled with that, but the does he improve players thing, I think he's one of the biggest myths in football.
Okay.
Look at how many signings Pep has bought for substantial amounts of money and moved on. Isn't he supposed to be this incredible coach? Who has he transformed?
I mean, there's a lot of players that went on to have brilliant careers under him, or maybe maximised them. But I think, going from this player's 5 out of 10 to now they're 10 out of 10, not a lot.
But can you name managers who've done that? And how much of it is on the player?
It's hard to know, that's the thing, how much on the player. Because Mateus Nunes, for example, the last few times I've seen him, he looks a hell of a lot better now than he did 18 months ago. But then they spent 60 million on him. So he obviously wasn't crap when he came from Wolves, he was just crap. They
didn't find him playing for the fucking Royal Oak, did they?
No, he was crap for a bit for City, and now he isn't. But I guess, maybe he didn't build him out of nothing. So do you think that that's not really on the manager to do that?
I think getting the best out of your players absolutely is, for sure. But I think the whole who's he made better is just a load of fucking nonsense at the end of the day. Like, you sign a Bruno Fernandes and he goes on a run of scoring 20 and assisting 20 every single season. Well, did anyone improve him? Or was he just fucking top? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, name me a player that Fergie absolutely did that. I mean, you can say, well, what about the class of 92 lads? Oh, what they were showing potential. Like, did he just play them or did he improve them? And how much of that is on the player themselves? David Beckham was taking crosses into fucking tyres as a child. Yeah. Does Fergie get the credit for that?
It's hard to know. Like you said, you can never really know. And that allows some people to say Ronaldo would have been what he is without Fergie, and other people say, Ronaldo could have played for anyone and still scored 970 goals.
He could have played for Tony Pulis and would have done the fucking exact same.
He wouldn't have been bad still, would he? Just overall then, before we go, are you... I don't want to say happy with the improvement, because obviously we'd all love to be second place right now, and I think, in another world maybe we could be with the quality of everyone in the league. Are you content with the trajectory that we're on under Amorim?
No. I'm open-minded as to where this is going.
Okay. To be fair, I think that's a good place to be, because it's hard to say right now that things have been brilliant, because they haven't. But I think a lot of people want to make their mind up.
I'm hopeful.
That's good. I like that. And you haven't made your mind up either way, and you're not saying he's got to stay forever or he's going to get sacked. Fair enough. Right. Get your thoughts in the comments. And also, let us know, is it too early to have decided on Ruben Amorim? Because I think there's a lot of people that come out of the woodwork when we lose, and a lot of people that come out of the woodwork when we win. And I think kind of need to be in the middle a little bit. We
saw this with Ollie. People were so team Jose that they never gave Ollie an opportunity.
Yeah.
I think people pick a side before you see what they're about, and then want to be right or wrong depending on how it turns out.
Yeah. Right. See you in a bit.